Be honest. Do you ever feel superior or inferior to others? Because that's a clear sign that you have unhealthy levels of self-esteem. So let's talk about it. In this episode, I'm going to teach you what self-esteem means and how you can develop real, true self-esteem. Real confidence, if you will. The most common mistake that people make when it comes to self-esteem is that they tie their self-esteem to their external performance or their external possessions or what people think about them. Oh, I feel good about myself because I managed to close this deal or make this amount of money, or because this girl or this boy likes me, or because, people have a good impression of me. So my self-esteem, my value as a human is tied to my achievements or other people's perception of me. And this is completely wrong, because then how you perceive yourself and your own value will completely fluctuate. So you'll feel good when you achieve something and feel like shit and like you have no worth if you make a mistake, if someone rejects you, if you take a low grade, or if you don't manage to get the deal you want. And it's so incorrect to base your self-esteem on these factors anyways, because healthy self-esteem, real self-esteem, comes from the inside. It is your birthright. You were born with it as a baby. I mean, think about a mother with two babies, right? One is mischievous and, does a lot of bad stuff. And the other one is kind and calm and doesn't cry much. Do you think the mother loves one baby more than the other? Of course not. No matter what your behavior is, your worth and your value as a human being doesn't change. If you had parents that made you feel like their love was conditional to certain things, whether you achieve something or you don't do certain things, like, you don't get out of line or you don't scream or shout or whatever, otherwise they don't love you anymore, then you learn to associate and tie your self-esteem on these external factors. But a good parent values you and loves you just the way you are, no matter what your behavior is. Because yes, your behavior can be bad, 100%. I mean, you can cheat, you can steal, you can do bad things to other people, and your behavior is bad. But your character, you as a person, your value stays exactly the same, whether you do something bad or whether you do something good. You can be tall or short, handsome, ugly, you can be successful, or have a 9 to 5 that's paid really badly. It doesn't matter. Your value as a human stays the same, and everyone's value is the same. This superiority or inferiority is a myth. Everyone is born with the same exact intrinsic value, no matter what your job title is or how much money you make. Healthy self-esteem means you don't see yourself as better or as worse than anyone else. You see yourself as the same with everyone else. Unhealthy self-esteem can manifest as feeling inferior or shame, or, like I'm not as good as someone else, I'm broken in some way. But, and here's the big shock, it can also manifest as feeling superior, grandiose, better than, one up. Because so this is the healthy baseline of I'm exactly the same as everyone else. Some people, because of their childhood, and because of their parents, they were made to feel less than, worse, they were put down. So now they feel inferior. But other people, they were falsely empowered. Like if a kid comes home and they're like, oh, I took a D on a test, or, I took a low grade. And the parent, instead of saying, okay, let's see what we can do for next. It's okay, you can study for next time or whatever. They say, oh, fuck the school system. You're smarter than everyone else. Or, they say something like this. They falsely empower the kid, make the kid feel like better, but it's still doing the kid a disservice. Because when when parents falsely empower their children by saying, oh, you're better than everyone else, you're above, you're blah, 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 we are smarter than, other families or other kids or children, whatever, it's still bad because the parent still doesn't see you, still doesn't see your value, still doesn't see you as good enough just the way you are. Another big proportion of people who feel superior feel like that as kind of like a defense mechanism against feeling inferior. So let's say I look at someone and I think, they're more successful than me, and I start comparing and I feel really bad about myself and I feel like a failure. I'm going to try to find something wrong about them, like, oh, but they're ugly and their relationship sucks, to feel better, feel better than them and feel better about myself. So I swing from inferiority to superiority so I can feel better, but the truth is, and what's underneath is still a feeling of inferiority. So people can feel inferior, superior because they actually feel inferior and it's just a mask. They can feel like that because they're falsely empowered as children, and this creates this really fragile sense of ego that's dependent on other people. And then third is people feel superior, grandiose, or what people call narcissistic nowadays, because they modeled a parent that was like that. If their parent was, very self-preoccupied and, didn't care about anyone else's opinion or didn't care about their family and did their own thing, and the child witnessed that, it's still a chance that, they didn't learn the skills to be empathetic and, to see value in other people and to care about other people because their parent didn't care about them. So they just modeled that. But both grandiosity and shame or inferiority are delusional because no one is better or worse than anyone else. Your value as a person cannot be earned or lost. You're exactly the same. The key to self-esteem is realizing that even when your behavior is flawed, you are still a good person. Even when you screw up or make a mistake, you're still able to hold yourself in warm regard because you can differentiate between behavior and character. A good parent doesn't tell their children you're a bad boy. They might say, you're a good boy, so now put that fork down and stop poking your brother in the eye. So you relate always to the behavior, not the character of the person. So next time you make a mistake, you screw up, you snap at someone, wherever it is, say that behavior was bad or that behavior was shit, but I am not a piece of shit. I'm still a good person. I'm still a good human being, even though my behavior wasn't that good. And that's okay because we're perfectly imperfect. We're all human beings. And if you did make a mistake, it's okay to feel healthy remorse for it. Not spiral down into shame and feel like I'm a piece of shit. No, that's not healthy. But feel a bit of remorse for your bad behavior, it's actually healthy because it keeps us accountable in our relationships. I mean, imagine I snap at someone or I'm aggressive towards, my partner and then I don't feel any remorse. That makes me narcissistic, right? So it's important to have a little bit of that. But there's a huge difference between, attacking my character and spiraling down into I'm a piece of shit and into saying I'm a good person, but that behavior wasn't good. And I feel bad about it and, I'll change it next time. Something you can do for your self-esteem and confidence is to start keeping a self-esteem journal. First of all, during the day, try to notice in what situations do you feel inferior or superior to others. Maybe when you're in a group setting and you feel like you don't get a word in and you start feeling inferior to others. Or, when you're talking to someone and you start feeling superior. What are the situations and what do you feel in your body in those moments? So start becoming aware. And at the end of the day, start writing them down. When did I feel superior? When did I feel inferior? So you become more aware of when these things happen. And next time, when you start feeling inferior or superior, literally, in your mind's eye, imagine that, if you're feeling inferior, you literally grab yourself and you put yourself back up and tell yourself, we have exactly the same worth. We're the same. Or if you're feeling superior, get yourself, down off your high horse and say, everyone has the same value. We are the same. I am good enough. You are good enough. Each person has inherent worth, and no one is better than or less than anyone else. Alright guys, I hope this video was helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if there's any other topics that you'd like me to talk about. Lots of kisses. Mwah.